to Aso Rock has continued to heat up, with many aspirants declaring their intentions to run for the coveted office come 2023 general elections. On the list includes Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Vice President Yemi Oshimbaju, Pastor Tunde Bakare, Yahya Bello, the Governor of Kogi State, Rotimi Amaechi, Bukola Saraki, Nyesom, Atiku Abubakar, just to mention a few.
Indeed, this development has forced many to wonder if there is more to the presidential seat, judging by how almost everyone is interested in occupying the seat. We begin the countdown to the 2023 general elections by x-raying some of the cogent issues. Now, joining us this morning to unpack this is an attorney of law and a political consultant, Kurtis Adigba. Thank you very much for joining us, Kurtis. And I think I'll just go straight to ask, what is your immediate reaction to this presidential ambition all of a sudden of everyone?
I mean, it's great for all of us. That's what democracy is all about. You know, to those who are worried about the number, I said to them, don't worry. Aspirants will begin to find their levels as we move ahead in the process. In 2016, at this stage in the United States, we had over 45 aspirants from the two major political parties. But at the end of the day, I mean, they found their levels and the candidates emerged. So it's nothing to worry about.
Okay, Mr. Adigba, let's also talk about, maybe one of the things that makes a lot of Nigerians, question the, the number of people, and that is the high cost of these interest forms. Many Nigerians have faulted the high nomination form and expression of interest by the two parties, while the APC, of course, has fixed its nomination of interest form at 100 million naira. The PDP pegged its own at 40 million naira. What's your take on those figures?
You know, the chairman of APC told us why they had to fix theirs for 100 million. It is to discourage jesters from complicating the process for them. But as we have seen, has it really worked? But the flip side of that question is, if they hadn't pegged it at 100 million, what would have happened by now? I'm sure we'll have over 200 aspirants in the race. Now, the other thing is, when you are the party in power, there is this belief that because you are the party in power, you have a better chance of winning in the election. And so APC probably we up their game in trying to shift the chaff from the wheat, if you let me use that expression, and see how they can get the best for their party. Now, but don't also forget that in this same country, when PDP was the party in power, the cost of buying forms from PDP was higher than that of any other political party in the country. So this is not something that is new. If you can afford 100 million, then don't get involved. But the truth of the matter is, 100 million is nothing to these guys. If you understand what I mean. There is nobody who has got this form that 100 million is money to him.
Yeah, well, hopefully it doesn't set a bad precedence, going forward.
Okay, I think it's important that we move the conversation to something that happened over the weekend. There were speculations that the CBN governor, Godwin Emefiele, had picked up a nomination of interest form, the speculations he has now come to refute. Should this be the case, talk to us, Kurtis, about the legality or lack of it of the law. What is the position of the law as regards the CBN governor participating in politics?
Well, you said he has denied it. So if he has denied it, why are we talking about it? For me, it's a nothing burger. So it's like saying the chief of army staff is going to contest for president tomorrow, and then he says, "No, I'm still serving as the chief of army staff. Why should I waste my time and discuss it?" Or like saying INEC chairman is about to join the race, and INEC found the time to respond. You understand what I'm saying? Look, this is a political season. You are going to hear all kinds of stories. But let me say this for the sake of ethics. I do not believe that the CBN governor will be that reckless in wanting to join the race. Now, the world chairman of APC in his state confirmed that he did join the party sometimes last year. As a Nigerian citizen, he has the right to join a political party, but the office he occupies should be an apolitical office. That is because he's the banker to the government, to the federal government. So he should not be seen to be openly partisan and political. So he shouldn't. And if he makes up his mind at any point in time to run, he should resign before making up his mind, or rather before informing Nigerians.
All right. Of course, the CBN governor has gone on to hire Michael Zekome, SAN, as his lawyer and representative on this issue. So we're going to be following up and seeing where that goes. And you just mentioned that a CBN governor should not be openly partisan, but is still allowed to join political parties. It's just hard to separate being partisan when you are a member of a party and a serving CBN governor. You may not go ahead and contest for president, but it will be difficult, to separate being partisan when you already are a member of that party.
Unfortunately, that is the law of the country. There's no law that says a CBN governor cannot join a political party. Okay? But what I'm saying is that if he decides to run for an elective office, he cannot sit there and then be politicizing, be politicking. He should simply throw in the towel. That's what is honorable to do. Look, let me give you an implication of what he is doing. Now that we know that the CBN governor is a member of APC, and that in fact had intention or considered running, how do you feel comfortable with INEC depositing the election materials in the CBN?
All right.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Now,
so
you have mentioned...
tomorrow if the opposition said, we can't even trust that this man will keep the materials safe and not deploy them in the interest of his own political party. You see, that's why we need to be very careful. And this is why we talk about ethics in governance.
And I'm very glad that you've mentioned ethics in governance, because whilst answering the last question, you mentioned that even though the CBN governor is not allowed to participate in politics outrightly, he does have a right as a Nigerian citizen to be a part of a political party, and that nothing stops him. Now let's talk about zoning. There have been conversations about zoning, and we're seeing that play out in the different political parties. How would you say we can draw the line between zoning and a person's right to vote and be voted for? Because we've seen a lot of arguments in that regard. Some people saying that, zoning is what applies to how we choose the candidates for this party, whilst others saying, if you say that, then you're infringing on their right to vote and be voted for. What's your take on this?
Okay, so my take is very simple. How did we get to where we are now? How did zoning come about? Now, zoning came about because of the feeling that a particular section of the country was dominating the governance and the politics of the nation. And it was felt that to show equity, justice, and fairness to all, and to give all a sense of inclusion, the PDP then decided that they needed to zone the office of the president. Most especially because of the sore feelings of the Southwesterners following the annulment of Abiola's election and his unfortunate death in detention. And so the next major political party also toed the line, and we had two candidates from Southwest. And that was the first time we started talking about zoning of political offices in Nigeria. Now, if we have gotten to a point right now, and we feel we don't need zoning anymore and it should be strictly on merit, we can as well say to ourselves, okay, we are done with zoning, people want to run. But this argument that if you zone a political office to one section of the country, you are infringing on the rights of people to vote and be voted for, to me, it's an argument that is smart by half. Let me tell you, as a minority in this country, what some minorities are going through. And it will help you to understand why the issue of zoning, because it's crucial and important to some people. I come from Benue State, right? And my state is made up of the Tiv and the Idomas. And you have a situation where one particular group has been everything in the state, governor, speaker. For the last 46 years, nobody from my own part of the state has been governor or speaker, and nobody will be if things don't change as it stands. So if you say you are against zoning in the country, for instance, and that majority carries the day in democracy, as we used to say in Nigeria, we are then back to a situation where a particular part of the country will dominate political affairs of this country at the highest level of governance. So I don't believe that a system which allows inclusion, would disenfranchise people from voting and being voted for. So let's tell ourselves the truth.
Okay, Mr. Adigba. Now let's Adigba, I beg your pardon. Let's come, down to the Southwest, and the conversations concerning Southwest politics. Bola Ahmed Tinubu and of course Vice President Yemi Osinbajo. There were speculations initially that there might be some friction, but how do you see this eventually playing out? Would you expect that one would step down for the other as we get closer to the primaries?
Well, I think it's up to them to decide. And if they can't decide, Nigerians will decide for them.
Okay.
Because you see, the presidency of Nigeria is not a regional affairs. It is not something that people sitting in Lagos or Ibadan or wherever and decide. You can only put forward your best aspirant, okay? And it's left for the rest of Nigerians to decide whether they agree with you or not. Now, let's not forget that APC is zoning or is thinking of zoning the presidency to the South. The South is not Southwest. The South includes Southwest, South-South, and Southeast. So the thinking by some that the South is only Southwest and that this race is between the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, or rather among Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and maybe Kayode Fayemi, is not right, because you also have people from the South and the Southeast who are vying for the same position. So let's not make this about Osinbajo and Tinubu alone, which is what we are hearing here, especially in the Southwest, in Lagos, especially where the noise is so much about someone betraying the other person. Oh, how a son has betrayed his father. For crying out loud, this is about the presidency of Nigeria, not the chieftaincy title of any group of people in this country.
Okay. Thank you very much for that very interesting line of thought. Now, I want to ask you a question now, not just as a lawyer or as a political commentator, but as a Nigerian. What do you think concerning President Yemi Osinbajo, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo? We've seen a lot of people arguing that the fact that he's had enough time in office has prepared him to lead the nation. What are your thoughts on this?
Look, I as an individual, I support Yemi Osinbajo to be president of Nigeria. I think he's the best aspirant from the APC, and he's going to be the best candidate in the country. He served as vice president for 7 years plus. We saw what he did as an acting president. We see how he goes about daily, relating with the ordinary person on the street, how he's discharged very well the assignment that has been given to him by the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He's a team player, he's a devoted father, a devoted husband, a passionate and caring Nigerian. He's qualified, he's competent. So what else are we looking for?
Yeah, but Mr. Adigba, would you say that the current administration, and that includes everybody who has been a part of the current administration, would you say that there are persons that you can single out to not have, seemingly failed?
Well, I think that's a slippery argument to make. And I hear some of the aspirants and their supporters make this argument. I mean, there is nobody in the race right now in APC that has not played one role or the other in the affairs of the country in the last seven years plus, right?
Yes.
Whether you are the national leader of the party, you had access, you had influence over the party. So you had if you have a better ideas about how the country can be governed, You have access to the president, you have access to the vice president. Look, if you are a governor and you say you can do it better now, the question also becomes, why didn't you go to the president and the vice president and tell them about the same idea? So that's why I think it's a free argument to make.
Yes.
Now, having said that, it is my considered opinion that we are not where we want to be as a country under this government, but we are not where we used to be.
Would you say we're in a better place?
Progress is incremental.
Yeah, but would you say that we're in a better place?
I think so.
Okay.
Look, I think we need to let me put the issue in perspective for you. There is no government that will come and solve all problems. You know why? Because the human society is dynamic. As you're solving one problem, others are cropping up. And so all the government needs to do is to reassess. I understand that we have a serious security problem. Now, when people talk about the economy, and I say to people, this is a global affair right now. The economic situation we're having in Nigeria is a global situation. I mean, it's global. If you go to anywhere in the world, inflation is on the rise. You know, people are confronting different economic challenges. And that is not to say that we have not made progress in this country before COVID came. We have made progress, and we will continue to make progress.
Can you, by any chance, maybe highlight the top 2 areas in which you feel that we have made progress? And I'm asking this because we've seen several arguments, people talking about the fact that the country may have taken a few steps backward from where it was, and which is why we're seeing conversations about people now urging former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan to come back for office. What's your take on that, and highlight some of the progress that you think that we've made?
You know, we can go and call anybody to come back to office. It depends on Nigerians if they want the person to come back to office. Now, I've heard people talk about how we've moved forward because the dollar is up so high and the naira is down so bad. That's a reality, but I'll tell you why. Except you believe that actions don't have consequences, then you can then just, compartmentalize this development and then say, oh no, it happened under this government. Look, this has been coming for a long time. What is our economy producing? And how do we earn foreign exchange? It's only from oil. That's the only thing, the major thing. That oil accounts for over 80 or 90% of our foreign exchange earning in this country. When this government came in, oil suffered from 2 heavy challenges: supply and price. You remember that we had so much problem in the Niger Delta area that the companies involved couldn't even do much. From
Mr.
almost
Adigba,
2 million barrels. Yes.
In the interest of time, because we need to wrap up, in less than a minute, maybe. We just wanted you to highlight 2 sectors that you would say have been better in the last 7 years.
What about infrastructure, the roads, the railways, housing projects, all right? Or airports that were built all over the country.
Okay.
What about better funding for the military? Now, I understand we have challenges, yes, in security, but it's not for lack of trying.
All right.
No government has provided better funds for security, for the security agencies than this administration.
All right.
Unlike in the past where the funds were looted.
All right. Thank you very much, Kurtis Adigba, for joining us and sharing with us your thoughts concerning the upcoming primaries and the election situation right now in Nigeria.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.